Hello everybody. I'm trying to do this little video at a different angle so then you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm hoping that this helps and you can kind of see exactly what I'm doing because it's kind of over top of me. And if you can see me and hear me, let me know. Give me a comment give me a comment below. And then if you're watching on replay, put that in the comments as well, replay or hashtag replay, so that I know you were here. But I am making today, I thought I'd share again, it's just another easy project, something I've been kind of hanging on to and have wanted to do a project with these. And I found a cute thing to do with them this year. So I love these little, let me just show you what they usually look like. So they usually are they're little frames. My mom actually used to have these hung on our wall growing up in a little area in our home. But so I picked them up. They're usually in a bag at a thrift store, or sometimes they sell them on their own. And then I also found some of these. These are just little different. They're not as old as these are, but they come in all shapes and sizes. And so this is what I am making with them. And then you can hang these from your tree, or you could just set them up somewhere or put them in a garland. But so this is what I'm making with them. And they do sometimes come like this mirror one. I'm not going to take the mirror out of this one. I will just paint it and then use it as the mirror. So I thought I'd just kind of share how I'm doing this. Again, another simple project. The first thing, not that situated here. The first thing I did was I found an old, I am not musically, I don't know anything about music, but I found this is an organ book at a thrift store. And so I just loved the old paper, the color of it. You can definitely print out these and then tea stain them. You will get the same look. So don't think that you have to go and try and find something like this. You can print this out on your computer and then tea stain them to get them this color, or just leave them white if you like that color as well. Or on colored paper, I mean, obviously whatever you want and however you're decorating. And so what I do is I just take out, okay, let me start here. I could not get these out at all. These were so hard. The backs of these, I don't know what they put on them, but you can see how hard they were to get out. I actually had to wait for Matt to get home, and he had to use a tool to try and get them out. And he broke some of the glass. I don't know if you guys can see that. A lot of them are hidden underneath the actual frame, but oh my goodness, they were hard to get out. So you have to get the backs out and then get the glass out. And then I washed the glass. But then, since these frames are so small, I wanted to find a portion of the music that is smaller, or where I would get more of it in there, if that makes any sense. Some of them in the book that I have, there's just like one thing here and then there was nothing here. So there was a lot of empty space. So I chose the ones that were kind of had more stuff on it. So I just use these as a template, and then this is kindergarten work, right? Easy. And then I'm just cutting that out. I'm at a little, okay. I'm just thinking now at this, doing it this way, I'm gonna have a harder time reading comments when you guys do come in, but that's okay. Okay, so then you have this. And then I like to get this situated before I do the painting. Obviously, this is pretty, but I just kind of wanted to brighten it up and make it look more brass. So I'll show you what paint I'm using. So anyway, the first thing I put in is the glass, and then I figure out which way this goes. Don't put it up upside down. And then I want to make sure that's straight, just like that. Okay. And then you may have to trim it a little bit. I try to cut on the inside of the line that I made But yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this one just a little bit, because otherwise it's gonna bubble up. So I'm just shaving off a little bit of the frame will, the outside of that frame will hide any, oh, and it needs a little bit more up here. Okay, seriously. Once you start messing with it, then of course it's worse than it was in the beginning. Okay, there we go. So if it's not perfect, that's fine, because your frame is gonna hide it all. So get it where you want it, and then, whoops, I kind of moved it there. So that's where I want it, and then I'm just using hot glue, and I'm just putting it around, two of the sides. I mean, you could do the whole thing. Just, there's no, again, this is one of those projects you can't screw up. I'm taking this, what was on there, off, and then I'm just gonna put this back in there. If we had damaged a lot of these backs, I would have just hot glued the paper in there to hold it in place. But there is that. So that is in place. I would have just done the paper on the back, because nobody's gonna see the back, right? And so then I'm using, whoa, that lid was not on. I'm using, I can't really share it this way, but this metallic paint that I've shared before. And I want to kind of dry brush it on. I don't want to fully paint this, because I want some of these darker areas to come out so it looks more like an antique brass. So I kind of wipe my brush off, and then I'm literally just touching the top raised parts of this little frame. I don't want to cover, you could, if you wanted to cover it, you could spray paint these. You could cover it fully, but I'm just trying to get kind of a brass, kind of like an antique brass color on here, and not full gold, because this is gold paint. I don't have any brass. Can you guys see that? I don't have any brass paint, so I'm just, since these are so dark, it kind of works really perfect. And I'll show you what I did for the silver ones. I've got hot glue. Oh, I'll get that off later. So make sure you do the edges as well. Again, just kind of, you do not want a lot of paint on your paintbrush, because you just, if you're doing it this way, if you get any on the glass, it's fine. You can go through when it's all dry and kind of scrape it off. It'll come right off. But another project that you can't really mess up at all. So just touching it a little bit, but you want to touch all the sides too, not just the, I just want it to look like it's kind of been around for a while. And so the dark color's pretty, but I just wanted to put a little bit of this on it so it's more of like an antique brass. Okay. Did I get all that? Nope. So, and then I just let that dry. And then once that's dry, like this one's ready to go too. I took some, like the painting should not take long at all if you're doing it this way. But wouldn't a bunch of these be pretty on a tree? I don't have a ton. I thought I had a lot more, but I don't find these all the time. That's a big glob of paint. So, but when I do, I try to grab them. I think I have maybe 7 here or 8 total with the newer silver ones too. But see, just touching it with the gold, just kind of, and I'm not being careful around the glass. Like I said, once that's dry, all of this will come off with just a paper towel. Let me just finish this one. If you guys are coming in, let me know if you have any questions. And if you're watching on replay and have a question, leave it below and I will come back in and answer it. I will hopefully get a blog post with all the links and everything if you guys want to try this up soon. But there you go. So that one's done too. So and once they're dry, I took this is Hearth and Hand ribbon, and I liked the plaid, but it's too thick for these tiny little frames. So what I did is I just took my scissors and I just cut down the middle. So then I get double the ribbon. This is what I had on hand. And then I have paint all over my finger. It's dry though. I'm just tying a little bow, straightening it out. I will cut off all these. And then I'm just hot gluing them to the tops like this. And then there are little hangers back here that you could just put an ornament hook on, or you could use twine or ribbon or whatever you have. And then you can hang them up. These would be really pretty if you had a small wall where you could do a whole gallery wall for them. You could get different, you don't have to do music either. I just think it looks nice for Christmas. You could do whatever inside there. But let me show you, I tried it too. I always like to give you guys other options because I know, again, not everybody has these laying around, or you may not be able to find them at a thrift store. These you can find, these aren't old ones. These are just small, tiny frames. Sometimes you can find them at not thrift stores, like dollar stores, these real little ones. I think Dollar Tree actually had some of these. But you could use, this is an embroidery hoop. So I just took it apart. I painted it with the gold, and you could embellish the inside of this, put your bow up here. Again, paint this any color. You can get 2 out of 1 little hoop. These are the real tiny ones. But that's another option if you like the idea and didn't have a frame. But this one was silver, just like this one. And so there's nothing silver upstairs so I wanted to make these look like the brass too. So I'm cutting that off. I haven't cleaned this glass yet. But again, I'm just using the same gold paint, but now this time I kind of want to really cover it. I don't want the silver to show. So I'm putting a thicker layer on. And you could do this when you took the glass out and you're cutting so then you can get really in there. So I'm putting a thicker coat on here, but yet you can still see some of the darker areas. Can you guys see that? Those I want to keep because that's what I'm trying to. I just don't want that shiny silver to show through. And so if some of that dark shows through, that's fine. But you can see I'm not wiping my brush off, so it's not really a dry brush here. It's a wet brush, but again, and on this one especially, you want to make sure you got all the sides covered. And then you want to do, back here as well. But I won't do that while I'm on here. And I should have had one of these all ready for you guys so then I could do the second thing, but I will explain what I did. So then once this is, and I don't have my hairdryer here like I usually do. Once this is fully dry, then I took this because I have it on hand. It's just a dark iron paint. And I just used another brush. And then, sorry, I just hit the tripod. I'm sorry. And then I just took this dark, really kind of more on a dry brush. And you could use any. If I didn't have this, literally this was just what was on the shelf quickest. I would just use like black, the 46-cent craft paint in brown or black, whatever you have. And then this is the one I've already done. And then I just it's kind of dark. But you see how then it just kind of looks more brass? I'm not trying to fully put that darker color on. I'm just trying to just highlight some of the areas, and it'll fall in the cracks. And if you get too much of the darker paint on, just have like a wet paper towel next to you and you can kind of dab it, and then it'll just pick it up, or it'll help you spread it around if you had a heavy hand or just got too much in one area. But yeah, see, now it went from this silver, which is very pretty, to more of a brass looking with, simple, some gold paint and some dark paint. Simple. And you could spray paint these as well. So, and again, I'm going to, like I said, I will put the bows on here, and then I will probably just use hooks or ornament hooks on the back of these to hang them. I think I'm going to hang them in the tree. I just don't think I have enough. So we'll see where they end up. I'll take some final photos. But this one, I like the mirror. So I'm just going to leave this guy just the mirror that he is and not take that out, because I will for sure probably bust the mirror. Okay, I can see people are in here. So as I paint that other one, I'm going to see if I can go back. I can kind of see them through this little part of the... Okay, let me see. Do you have any questions? Penny, you are already wrapping gifts. You are a rock star. I've got gifts. I need to start wrapping them. But our kids do half school online and then half at school. So I feel like they're always here. But if I'm just in my office, they usually don't bother me. But that's awesome. You're already getting... Oops. Oh my gosh. Elizabeth, hello. I can see you're here. So yeah, I'm just going to paint this one and see if anybody else has any other. Okay, now you can see there, what didn't I do? So I'm going to grab, hang on. That's what happens when you're not paying attention to what you're doing. So I just got this wet paper towel and I just want to wipe most of that off. See? But if you're just trying to... Did you guys have these at your house? I just remember my mom. Ooh, I have never, my mom had these in our house. Okay, resin, I've seen so many pretty, I have never worked with it, so I don't know. Have you done any projects with it? I don't even know. I have no idea, but that would, if it would work, that would be amazing. And I have some cool pieces I just found that I'll be sharing probably in stories, so stay tuned for that. One of them, I'm hoping it's not too tall, but again, who knows? I don't know. It probably won't fit in our house, but I'm hoping I can figure out a place to put it. Again, same with the glass. I'm not freaking out if any of this gets on. I'm getting a heavy hand again. If any of it gets on the mirror, because it will come right off as soon as it all dries. And always, always, always use less paint. It's kind of like a recipe. If you put it in, you can't take it out. And with paint, just use less. You can always add more as you're working on it. But if you put too much on and then it dries, then you're kind of... Okay, I just have... do these sides. Okay, I need you. Is it Yelena? Am I saying that right? It's a pretty name. You need to teach us all your ways. That sounds really, really, really pretty. Okay, this one's done. And again, I will just clean that up as soon as it dries. Yes! Elizabeth, yes, that's what my mom... Yes, I know. They're kind of, like I said, I wish I had a few more of these. So when I find a bag of them at a thrift store, I'm so excited. But my mom had the same thing. I can't remember if she had these with the little... I swear she did. But I think there were people in them. And then she had them on a little wall in our house. Now we're going to all be on the lookout for... Elena, that's so pretty. They're both pretty names. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? I'm just going to finish this silver one, right? Is that all I have? Well, this one's dry. Well, not quite yet, but I have these yeah, these two to finish. I need to add some more bows. And then I need to cut some more of the music paper for inside here. And then I will be done. So if you just hopped on, I've been picking up these little frames at thrift stores when I find them. And I've had the older ones for a while, and I've always wanted to do something with them. And this year, I kind of went through, there's a few things I've had stored away, and if I don't do something with them this year, I got to get rid of them. So I'm just making small ornaments. Where are they? With them, I'm making them look more like antique brass, and I'm some vintage music paper I just cut on the inside, added a bow, and then there's little hangers so then I can hang them in a tree or on some garland. What, Elizabeth? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's awesome. That would be amazing to have. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I'm just going to finish this project and let you guys go. If you have any questions or later on, just put them in here and I will come back in and check them out. But have a great rest of your afternoon.